Okay, it looks like we're live. Hello, and welcome to the stream. We're going to do some more major contest playthroughs. Do a new local match. I think we're going to start off today with retteach and his North of the Border course. Let's go look. He did give us some conditions. I might do round one conditions. Is there any other info on this? Just kind of some basic stuff. Not any. Oh, I guess set in British Columbia in Canada. So there is a setting for it. A little a little bit of a backstory, but nothing like pretty simple. Just kind of like an idea and a location. All right. I think it was green tea was the first one. Looks like we have some manipulated teas. Round one, pin 3. Nothing wrong with that, but it just feels like if you have the round set up, you could do the pins 1, 2, 3, 4. That would make sense. Tea's green. Wind direction east. Wind speed def. Oh, default. Oh, well, that's an interesting. Nothing wrong with leaving the wind as default, but it's basically random. So everything's default. Okay, cool. So again, if it can support very high winds, then that's fine. But there's a little less. What do you want to call it? Like control over that as a scheduler if you leave winds as default. It's basically just saying, I would like these to be random, please. All right. First things first. Environment looks nice. Definitely has some, like it passes for Canada. Again, I like the planting. Visuals off the tee are solid. Maybe the bunkers are not hidden. You can see them, but they're not framed as well as they could be. They're just a little hidden. And also these corridors seem very tight. Like these two holes are very close together. Like claustrophobically so. Hey, Saucy. So I saw you published recently. If you're here, I can maybe I do yours next. Oh, we're gonna skip off the rock. That's gonna work. We'll do it a little out of order, but that's okay. Like I've kind of scrapped doing it in order, anyways. So, I'll try to do playthroughs for whoever's in chat if they're around. Because the rest are getting played and uploaded to YouTube. Yeah, happy Saturday. All right. So yeah, I ended up getting very high winds, which will be dicey. All right. See, I mean, like, there's not a lot of like, what do you want to call it? Not any like real major technical issues so far. Like it's pretty sound. I think like oh, that's a terrible swing. I think so far kind of like the it's early, but I can see this probably being a little on the easy side. There's some, again, greens seem pretty tame for what, a 7,200 yard course for a major. Like, obviously it plays fine so far. Alright, there again, now we've got a little tight landing area, which kind of makes sense. It's uphill. I think I still need to go down a club with the wind. Ah, nope. Alright, it didn't take as much as I thought it would. Alright, we have a little split fairway here. But again, also it's a split fairway where, it's a major course and the split fairway part is short. So every plat player is just blowing it straight over, which, like for a CC course that's fine, but for a major course it's the if you can blow it over all the hazards with a 305 driver, then that hazard is not in play for this particular field. Let's do some poor putting. This is the one where you come back the other way. Yeah, this is kind of a claustrophobic corridor here, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't mind the width of the tee shot in terms of, like, the hole itself, but the two holes basically overlap, and it makes it feel crowded. Like, you could miss your tee shot on this green, that kind of stuff. I guess it'd be unlikely. You'd probably blow it over, but... Oh, I don't think I got that one very good. So, I mean, I'm struggling a little bit, but mostly my struggles are because I'm playing on very high winds and, I'm out of practice and, what do you want to call it? Like, I just, I don't really do math for that sort of things. I just guesstimate, and I'm kind of guessing wrong. This is a lovely spot. I feel like, I don't know, maybe nitpicky. I like this shot a little more from a more right angle from over here. Like, I feel like this hole suits... Sorry, I can't get the camera quite right. Like, somewhere around here feels like a great spot for a tee box, or here. I suppose... that makes sense. We have some that kind of take it from a more natural angle over here in different rounds. It's just that as we get all the way left, it feels like the trees kind of... They're not, like, in play. It's not like they're blocking any lines, but it just feels like the hole isn't really set up to play from that direction. You would say design-wise this is a big step up for him. He's making big strides. I mean, yeah, I'd agree. Like, he's quietly becoming very, very competent in the designer. Not that any of his early stuff is bad, but you can see a lot more technical polish and things like that. Like, all of my nitpicks have just been kind of like ideas and concepts, but like the execution has been pretty solid. And again, and like all of my notes on where I think like this, like little issues I have with this course, like it's mostly just like that. Yeah, I don't know if this is quite major difficulty. It's not an easy course. Oh god, that's terrible. But it's not punishing either. And it's like you have to get real goofy. This might win the Matt... What's the Matt F award? Is that the most superfluous bunkering? Again, part of me feels like the giant mega skyscrapers in the Canadian wilderness feels a little out of place, just personally speaking. But I will also say that it's a nice backdrop, too. Most CC appropriate. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's been some that have been probably easier than this, but it's close. Yeah, like this par 5 is very like this is basically like a middle of the range par 4 for plat. Like it's a big flat green and I'm hitting like a long iron into it or a hybrid. Like this is very friendly. I mean, I'm playing like ass and I'm also on the hardest possible wind condition. God, that's a pathetic putt. I should have made an eagle there, and instead I make par. I will say, this one and the hole next to it, they feel like a little flat, like for being next to kind of like the water level. I feel like they just sit a touch low. Not majorly so, but just a little. I don't know. I feel like I make that comment a lot, where it's just like, maybe I think it's more of a me thing as opposed to an actual technical issue. Is I just feel like stuff looks weird if like too much of the land sits too close to water level. I want a little more of a bank and stuff like that. All right, I will say that this part of the fairway is kind of awkward and not really necessary, especially like it's 192 yards of carry. Like nobody's laying up on this hole, and nor would they need to. Like if you couldn't cover that, then you have no business playing a 7,200 yard course type thing. And also that hole would then be a par 5. So yeah, but again, it's the I think the theme for this is going to be quite a lovely course. Fun little theme, decent golf, just not quite. You don't know how much difficulty is a factor in the rubric. It's not the end all be all of the rubric, but I believe it's about 25% right now. Like naturally, maybe like I have oh god, that's a terrible shot. I have a rubric in mind, but I haven't finalized stuff yet, so we can always tweak it. But right now, it's about 25% of the rubric is difficulty. So it's kind of one of those where, like if you submit a really good CC course, like you're not gonna get totally killed. But you're kind of getting like a B minus C plus at best. In terms of like a score out of 100. If it weren't for that, I think this could do well in the contest. Yeah, again, I agree. I think like there's some little, like there's not a lot of technical stuff left that I think needs to be fixed. Like occasionally like a slightly awkward bunker or sightline or like hazards that aren't quite in play, but like it checks a lot of boxes. It's quite solid. Like or it's the like I wouldn't necessarily think this is in quite like the top like 2 or 3 of the contest in terms of like pure golf, just because again like there's but I don't know, I think I'd have to go back and play them both, but I think I'd put this on par in terms of golf with like Petty or I'm trying to think of was it Squidwards I'm thinking of. There's one I played early that I really liked. Sorry, I have currently only played all of these once for their playthroughs. I like this look off the tee. This is just a really pretty spot. And this is, okay, I feel like I would and again, I'm getting real nitpicky here just because this is framed so nicely. And I can go full on like art critic here. Love this little spot. I love the green. I love this bunker. This one in front, I think could use some editing. Like almost make it like a little bigger, and it would sit lower down into the hill. But yeah, I agree. Well, yeah. Because I enjoyed Petty's golf wise, and this is pretty solid golf throughout. It's just not a major course. And I don't know where I would rank it. Like, I think like Ben's course is such a kind of enigma for me. And like I think it's the best course in the contest so far, but it's not like fun to play, which is kind of the God, my putting's awful. Um, Again, it checks all of the boxes. It does what it's supposed to, but what it's supposed to be is not necessarily great golf. So it's a weird thing where it's like, oh yeah, it's the best course in the contest, but it's not the best course in the contest. Specifically because it's the best course in the contest. Yeah, the last couple holes are checking some visual boxes for me. These look nice. I think I'm downwind, but yeah, like there's these. Yeah, it's partially because I'm downwind, but like those hazards are not in play. Now I'm playing terrible golf, but that's not necessarily because the course is too hard. It's because I am putting like crap. So otherwise, like I'm kind of on autopilot for the most part with the rest of the course. Like this is a very cozy round, but it's 7,200 yards, so it's like almost CC in terms of length. And then like there's a couple tucked pins and things like that, but that's just a bad swing. But other than that, like it's just a very comfy, like casual round. I think you could soften this up and just put it on CC. I mean, I can see plat players finding it fun because, like, it might challenge them in a way that they don't get on a lot of courses. They can kind of show off their skill, so to speak, where it's asking them to hit really precise shots that only they can. But yeah, that's gonna take me a couple playthroughs to really get a feel for. Like again, I think it's great for the contest. I just don't really know how I feel about it personally. Of like, is this a great golf course or not? It's great at what it sets out to do, but I don't know if that makes it a great course, if that makes sense. So again, part of like how I would rank like what I think the quote unquote best course in the contest is, just like casually without diving too far into the judging rubric. It's just kind of like, well, what did I have the most fun playing? And a lot of the times, like I think when I have fun playing is almost the complete opposite of like what you should be doing in this contest. I like this spot. I think it gets, again, it a little too cramped with the rest of the course. Like it just doesn't quite have enough room to breathe. Um, but like it's a cool, neat idea, and I love this little spot. Again, part of me was like, I'd love to like this would make a great short par three, kind of played from like this kind of angle, with like maybe more water in front, just kind of like a little peninsula thing. Although it does look nice from over here too. There's a shot. But yeah, I don't think I really don't have any notes on this of like why something doesn't work as a golf course. My one note, like the one thing I think that it's like a technical issue is the like I like the compact routing, but this one feels claustrophobic. Like there's such a fine line between a golf course feeling kind of integrated and like one collective environment and feeling cramped. And I think this kind of overshoots a little bit and ends up being cramped. Because all of the holes, like there's not really any like shared fairways or shared landing areas or things like that where you might do on a really compact course. They all have their individual playing corridors. They just stop and end like a foot off of each other and kind of over, like normally you want to leave, like I usually leave like maybe, or you consider like 10 to 20 yards left of, and right of each fairway to be part of that hole and like part of that corridor. Like you're rarely doing fairways from tree line to tree line left to right. Like there's going to be a little bit of like a rough buffer on either side of the playing area. And so when like the buffer of your golf hole is another golf hole, it just feels a little cramped. But yeah, like that was just a lovely course. Honestly, I think Like, I think we might see that on the CC schedule, and I think that's a good thing. I think a little bit of tweaking, and that'll be perfect for CC. But also probably means that, like, its legs in this contest might be a little limited as well. But, like, a lovely golf course that I really only have, like, little nitpicks for. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed that round, and, like, keep up the good work. Yes, sorry. You just hopped in at the end. That's my bad. Um, but again, I can wrap up my thoughts real quick. I really enjoyed the golf. Like pretty much every hole on there was solid. I think my only complaints were that it's not a major course. It's honestly more of a CC course. That I think will do well on CC with maybe some softer conditions and not playing on very high winds. And then also just like some of the playing corridors get really cramped. Like it needs a little bit more room to breathe, or like kind of combining of like kind of individual corridors into like a shared fairway type situation. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it, and that was a great course. All right, where is Saucy? Since you're in here, we'll do yours next. Oh, I should cut the stream, and then I'll go look for yours. Anyways, we'll cut this video here. And for those of you in chat, we'll be right back. For those of you watching on playback, we'll catch you later. Until the next time, we'll, have a good one.